Tonight on DFY Magic Themes, we'll be going over your images and how to do SEO for them inside of WordPress. Well, very good evening to you. It's that Friday feeling again. First in the room tonight was Stuart. Good evening to you. Followed by Steve, followed by Paul, and we know others will hop in. It's that spooky feeling on its way round the corner to this weekend. On, I think it's Tuesday night, my lot are going out trick-or-treating. And it's very nice to see my good partner who she's normally sort of getting the kids to bed this time of night, but she's actually on the screen tonight, so it's very nice to see her. We're going to get going very, very soon here on DFY Magic Themes. Well, hello, good evening and welcome. Do you like my little hat on the end of there, Robert?
I love that. Mine looked like a watch glass, like a little shot glass. Happy Friday.
I love it. I love it. Oh, another week's gone by. Where's that week gone again? It just disappears very quickly, doesn't it?
Well, two things. When you like what you do, the days go by fast. Right? First of all.
Yeah.
When you're sitting in a job of something that you don't want to do, the minutes, seconds drag. It's just hard to stay focused. But when you really enjoy what you're doing, and I heard that, my father told me that at one point, that you have to like what you do because you spend your entire life doing it, more almost than anything else.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, things are changing, and in the employment market, things are changing because the younger people, they won't do what they want to do. I bumped into a lady at Home Depot the other day, and she happens to be some kind of manager at a McDonald's or something. And she was like, it's a nightmare to hire people because they're entitled before they even come in, and they're only coming to work at McDonald's. So yeah, Paul says it very correctly. Actually, if you love what you do, then it's not a job, and that's the truth. Then it's a passion, and when it's a passion, time just flies by, and our weeks are just seems like minutes, and it's Friday to Friday sometimes. But lots going on, lots of great things are about to
Explode.
come to fruition
that
we've been working on for a very long time.
And do you know what's frustrating? I can't share them.
I know, but it's what we have to do to finish what's on the plates.
Yeah.
Because we have people waiting for things that have to get done. We focus on those, and they're not always possible to get done as quickly as possible, but it gets done in due time, and the process is still the same. Build, rent, and rank. And the tools that are coming along with the ranking part are what has really slowed us up, but they're a critical part to what we're doing, because the ranking is going to become simplistic. with the tools in place.
There's something I can sort of share. And we're talking about
you're like a kid in a candy store. You can't stand it.
We are going to share tonight going over images, and the exciting thing that came into my mind only today, I messaged our dev and I went, is there any way you can get shortcodes to work inside of the image library in WordPress? And he's come back and he said, I don't see any reason why not. So we are hoping, there's no guarantees. So that's why I say now, because if he comes back and says, sorry, I can't do it, then we're a bit screwed. But he reckons he can get it working inside of here. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to share my screen now. And as you will see, so this is an image I opened up earlier, and he's planning on getting the shortcodes to work inside of alternative text, title, caption, and description. And if he can do that, think about it. You can preempt your builds with us with the Magic Code Builder by having a number of shortcodes in here. So, for an example, you could type in here, this is a glove, because that's what you probably want to describe it as. And this is also part of the you put your shortcode company in there. So I'd say like DFY Magic Themes services we offer. Now, obviously you wouldn't put something like that, but the plan is you could make up 2 or 3 different options in here. And the cool thing is, with the Magic Code Builder, we built it with spin tags. So think about this. You can't do inside of WordPress spin tags inside of images. It doesn't let you. But what if you could put a shortcode in here, and that shortcode has spin tags? Then every time Google visits that image, it's a different form of text in it. And Google will go, hello, they've uploaded another image. What's that going to do to your site? Boost it. And it goes for the same with the title. You know, this is web design Kern, and then in the caption, I'd probably put something like glove description. We build websites for cleaners. And you can play around with stuff like this all the time. Just lost my window. So and you can create different descriptions. So what's cool is you could put in here like a tag in here, shortcode, which you call it glove image. So you know what the image is inside of your shortcodes, and then inside of there you put your text. So we are it's going to take him 2 to 3 weeks to build. I'm hoping it'll be sooner to add it into the MCB, and so that means then you can put the shortcodes anywhere across your site. But what's cool, what's really important is you do actually do this information in here, because a lot of this information ends up being converted for people who are partially sighted, people who use the service where you can hover over something and it gives you a description. So when they hover over it, the description would actually say, this is a picture of a glove, for an example, right? But this is but this has also been built for a website for cleaners. So when people who are partially sighted, who are hovering over wondering what it is, it gives it out properly. In fact, I think it's normally the alt text that does that. Learn how to describe. I don't know. Can you still hear me, Robert?
Yeah.
I thought my headset went off then. So you just got to make sure this is all filled out properly with information. It creates great SEO information, and it also means that people who are partially sighted can hover over it and hear it talk to itself, basically. And you just work your way through all of the images on your site accordingly until you fill them all out with SEO related keywords, because then on Google it ends up showing up properly on Google in the first place. So when you're looking at images on Google and someone's typed in the search term website, I want to have a website built in Crewkern, well, straight away that's where it's going to be. When it says, could you shortcode the URL to swap the image? Funny enough, we are talking to the dev about that, if there's going to be a possible way.
Well, here's another hot seat question, just right along with it. If the shortcode can stay in the image properties, I don't see why if the URLs are spun in the shortcode, that it should work already. But it's a testing thing. The other thing, the real big burner here is when we do the restore, would the media hold the data of the shortcodes?
Absolutely, because it's just a backup.
So if the data is being stored in the image as shortcodes, and we pre-install the shortcodes with the variation of, it won't be precise, but let's say it's a variation of the niche information already done. It'll stay and come preloaded with that content. And then if you guys want to alter it, you change it. But you wouldn't have to go in right away and fix all the images, because it could become pre-installed. That would be my thought.
Yeah. And I am just testing something a minute, because something I've never tested before, Robert, and I wouldn't mind checking it on here.
What's your guys' thoughts on the call? Would you rather have something preset as generic to the niche, or would you rather it be blank and you guys come in and fix it for all your images?
Have a look.
So
Generic.
Paul says
preset
that can be added too. Yeah, I mean, if it already comes in with like niche keywords for that particular niche on whatever images are in there, then you guys can always come back and alter it around or change them up, you know. But it's a one more step that the site is built and more complete as the restore comes in play and Google starts looking at everything, versus the steps you got to go through to get it all the way finished.
I'm doing a test. I think there is actually a way of doing it. And I'm just seeing if this is going to work before I show anybody. So, because it's an interesting subject of seeing if you can do images.
I agree, Paul. The images, updating the images is a pain in the ass. But if it's pre-done, preset, and you can come back and change it, you know, as things go on, I don't know, maybe I'm just old and stuck on this concept of, I'd rather see you guys buy 10 domain names and blam 10 sites up and not have to do anything, versus one at a time and going through the images and, you know, you have to do the things you have to do. I get it. And we can't do everything for you, but at the end of the day, having 10 sites up and renting is income. Having that process of getting to the onboarding part, which I'm just going to shut my mouth because I'll say things I'm not supposed to say. But all of this is what we're trying to do for you guys, to have it click button ready. You know, that one click solution to having the site built, or having which we've already done, the demos on your agency site. So the demos are there for people to see them. So you don't have to spend the time to build them. You know, yeah, upload and done. That's I mean, other than social media and other than the ranking factors that go around it, citations and other stuff, that's what makes it yours. That's the process. That's what I see as the answer. And it's funny because people that we speak to, people that have, use magic themes to grow their business. That some of them, like Mike Sexton, he disappeared for months and months on end, and he just sent me a message this morning saying something about he's got to get back in now. The bee season is slowing down, so he's got to change gears. And I mean, literally, he went from no work to his biggest month ever, which was supposed to be his slowest month in what he does, because he really worked hard getting his sites out there and dominating the area, and started selling leads to other pest control people. So it's a matter of going after what you really want to get done. That's always the factor. And sometimes it's faster than for some than others.
Yeah. I don't want to have to do anything to the site until it's rented. Yeah. I think that's the best way with these.
Yeah. I mean, what I want for you guys and myself is that it's rented before I even built the damn thing.
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I mean, because that's what the demo sites are for, right? So if you do enough onboarding and you get to the people that don't have the website and you make them the unbelievable, what's the word I'm looking for? No brainer offer. Why wouldn't they start with you before you even build it? Right.
So I've done a quick test, and this isn't perfect because it never is when you do things live, right? And I have to do a bit more playing around, but let me just show this a minute. This image here, Robert, is a URL, right? Sorry, it's a shortcode it with inside a URL. So if does my screen change? Yeah. So what I've done is, if I go visual, I've gone and added an image inside of here, and then in turn taken the shortcode and put it onto the home page, onto the page where the image is going. Now, obviously, I need to play around with the image sizes and stuff, but then you could quite easily inside of here, once you've added an image, let me just rechange this again, right? Let's add media. Let's add the glove, right? And let it insert it. So what you could technically do with our builder is put the spin text open bracket, click afterwards, do a pipe, then add media, select another media image, then you put it in. Let's get rid of the word glove because I was messing around with that earlier. And then close it with a bracket, right? Do update. That's now got the images in there. If we now come back to my page and I refresh, the theory should be it's added both for some reason. And maybe I've done something wrong in the shortcode. Let's have a look.
I think you're missing a bracket on the front.
I don't think it put the bracket on the front. I think you're right. If I now do update, let's just have a look and see if it's got 2 in there. We've got 1. Oh, yeah. Pipe.
You need a pipe in a second picture.
Add image. Let's do that there. We'll do it. Yeah, right, that's better. So now we're going to update. We're going to come back to the site. We're going to refresh. And there's the first image. Let's keep refreshing and see if it changes. Might take a few attempts, so I might have to turn the caching off of my site. I have to turn the caching off. So let's go and find, let's see if it is turned on or not. It's switched on somewhere. I'll have to find that, but both the images are in here. So in theory, eventually it should change with enough refreshes. Let's just try again. Let's try opening an incognito window. See if we can fool it. Maybe not. So without me logging in, oh, there we go. It's gone and changed now, look. So you can spin your images with the magic code builder.
So this brings up another point, right? The images can change, but let's make sure that when we're spinning images, that they fit what you're trying to say on the page where the image is.
Yeah. So you can, so that short code there now says it's just square bracket IMG1 square bracket, right? So you would then come into this where the short code is itself, and you'd look at the text and then say, okay, these images aren't related to what I'm doing. I need to change them out. But you can do that on page.
Yes. But what I'm trying to say is your image is, an image is worth 1,000 words. So when somebody visits your site and they're seeing your page, what's drawing them in? And it, like if you're going to the contact page images should be something about, I like to see a girl with a phone or a girl on an iPad or something, meaning that she's making contact, that the visual representation of the image is subliminally telling your visitor to do the same thing. I mean, there's so much science to this stuff, and it gets so deep. But at the end of the day, we have to think about, what is the image saying? Is it reading the right message subliminally to the visitor? And you want them to take action. The sites are lead generation. They're not for leisurely pleasure for people just to look at pictures. They have a purpose of what they're trying to drive to. And the other thing I want to say, because of rank math, when this all comes to play, we want to make sure that the images that you're putting on a particular page, whether it's a home page or a contact page or whatever, you're putting in the information of what's on that page into that image.
Yeah.
Because rank math will help steer towards the common keywords that you're trying to drive the traffic of that page with. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're talking about blue widgets on the home page, and your images are now talking about blue widgets on the home page in the properties section of the images, that helps your SEO for rank math. It puts all that shit together for you. But if you're talking red widgets on blue widgets and green widgets on the same page, you're confusing what you're going after as far as a keyword SEO version in rank math. Because rank math is man, it's keyword driven for that entire page. The other pages are keyword driven separately, but they're all become the related topic of the SEO of the entire site. So
and sorry, I was going to say, the interesting thing as well is we've built the MCB, Magic Code Builder, to work with rank math. So you can put short codes inside of rank math. Now, the only thing to know is when you're viewing the page SEO from rank math, it's going to give you a false positive because it can't read the short code. But if you go to rank math's website and use their tool to look at the page information, it'll tell you the SEO score. So it's one of those things that we can't make that work with rank math, because rank math can't read the short code. It's not the end of the world, but the bonus is then we can spin text inside of a short code. So then you can spin text inside of your SEO, which means every time Google visits it, it can be a slightly different variation of the same subject line or same title. So it means it's refreshing your site all the time. And this is why we want to try and also include short codes in our information. And I think that it's going to be an exciting way forward. The thing we can't do yet, and I might talk to the dev about it, background images can't change using a short code. You can't put a background images using short code. But I might see if the dev can find a way around it with our themes. You never know. And I know one of the comments was like, I think easy install and stuff like that. We are looking into a system, hopefully. I don't want to give too much away, Robert, that's the thing. And it might take
our whole goal has been from the beginning, and has not changed.
Yeah.
The closer we can get to the Office Depot one-click easy button. I love that advertisement because it's so clear. That's always been our goal. The quicker you can have a site built, everything done, and rented is what Done For You Magic Teams is all about. It always has been. So having the restore file for the rebuild but still make it unique so that you're getting all that spun content, and that it doesn't matter if you're in Wellington, Florida, or you're in England, or you're in California, the site becomes unique based on the location times keyword. And that's enough as it is. But at the end of the day, because of the spun content, because of the short codes, that's why for me, even though I'd love to see graphics, Steve, why don't you pull up rankmath.com for me, if you wouldn't mind.
Just to answer Bob's question about AI images quickly. I use AI images on some of my sites. The only thing is AI can't get hands right, so the hands all look all weird and like they got
mine.
They got like about there's one hand with that many fingers, and so if you're going to do an image and it has got someone's hands on it, crop it and get rid of their hands so it looks normal. Look over the images because sometimes their faces don't always look good, and it probably look a bit like mine. So so it's all okay, Let me just get rank math up a minute.
I'm sure that we've covered this at some point, but if you guys have not seen the rank math tools,
so going to tools and SEO analyzer.
You have both the analyzer and the meta tag analyzer.
Yeah. So let me go and grab my URL. I haven't done much for this site. It's ranking. What's funny is all I did was fill in the company data. That's all I did. I've done nothing else.
This will be interesting. So test
with
your
my site
with the meta title first tag.
Oh, I'm doing the SEO one first, right?
That's fine. That's fine.
We can always switch afterwards.
So rankmath.com, right, will give you that number, but when you're in your own site with your stuff's not done.
No, because I've been super busy with other stuff, but I will get around to doing this. What's funny is in Kruka, and I am ranking #1, and I've done not a lot to the site. That's the funny thing about our builds, that it.
So check your meta title and tag just to see what you have coming out. So what I like about this, it not only checks Google, it checks Bing and Yahoo and DuckDuckGo. So if your meta information is correct, it goes across the board. So your title's too long because it went with the generic title.
Yeah.
So future builds, this will be preset in shortcodes.
I think that's also why I've been a bit lazy lately, because Robert's been working on the agency site on setting up in a way that when you fill in your company data, it self-populates all the SEO. And we are working towards getting that all in the right direction for you guys. Out of interest, right? If you had a service where, from us, that you could go to a page, type in on a form your domain name, and then enter your hosting email address. You'd have to be on our hosting to do this, right? Hit a button, and the next day that the entire site's installed, so you do not have to worry about uploading a file and hitting restore and playing around. And then another form that auto filled in all the company data info for you. Would that be a service that you guys would be interested in? Those are inside of Zoom. Just put one in the chat if it is, because it's something we've been talking to our dev about, where we would set up a system. So literally, all you got to do is you have hosting with us, which a lot of you already have anyway. You go to a form within the members area. You enter in a URL. Your domain name without any W's or HTTPs in front. You put your hosting email address in, so that the email address that you got under our hosting, and you hit submit. Go to bed, get up the next morning, and the files are installed for you. And then the second step is to fill another form in where you put your company data, your email address, all that sort of stuff, and your login information that you want for WordPress, and you submit that. And then a couple of hours later, it sorts itself out for you, and then you can log in. So You couldn't do sites on my. We couldn't do it that way on other hosting because we don't have control of the hosting systems for other people. So if someone came to us and said, "Oh, can you automate it with GoDaddy?" No, purely because we are having scripts written that can do this for us, basically, that will work with the hosting that we have.
Okay, so this is not something that
has been built yet, by the way.
Has been built. It's only been talked about, but we don't want
We
to
wanted
chase a
to
rabbit hole that
we wanted to see if
nobody's interested in.
If this is something that you guys are interested in, a really simple 3-step system is what it'll be, right?
So what is I like Richard's questions because he's thinking how I'm thinking, that if I can pre-build a site for clients, right? Even if I don't have the client yet, and all I need to do is have the data to make that site mine in my location with my information, right? And that takes the work out of the rest of it. If the whole thing is plug and play and I get a site built, simple, but then afterwards, after it's built, what happens? Because then you have edits, but you still got to be able to change it. So you're still going to have the knowledge of, I have to go in. The guy decided to change his phone number or his email address or some shit, and I got to go back and fix it.
Yeah.
So once it's built this way, it's only in a planning type of conversation. Then it becomes another tool to get them built faster. But you still got to be able to edit. You still got to be in control of them.
See, we're trying to design the newer builds for everyone so that they're built in a way that you upload. It's pretty much there for you. Obviously, there will be some tweaks you might want to do yourself. Just to answer Richard's question, the idea would be that depending on what package you've got, and you guys know what packages you're on, you could do it. If let's say someone joins us and they've got a 10 license system, means they can do 10 installs of any of our themes. You do 10 installs of the plumber theme, and then so it means then if you do the first install for yourself, let's say it's the agency site, then you do an install of the plumber's theme, and then Mr. HVAC knocks on your door and he goes, "Oh, do you have a HVAC site?" And you, actually, yes, I have. Okay, how much? $500 a month. We can get it all set up for you within a week. Great, go ahead and do it. Then you come back to us. You go to the system. You buy a domain name, right? You point it to our hosting, so that, and you got allowed 24 hours for that to update. And then so the next day you come into our system, you fill in a web form, you hit go, and then you go off and have a cup of tea, coffee, or whatever. And a couple of hours later, depending how busy the server is on doing installs for people, it's then all installed for you and done. You fill in another form to update your company data and your login details. It goes and does that for you, right? So it means you can get on with other work while the systems are building it for you. That's what we would like to get to ideally sort of in the new year, which is what we've been talking to our dev about, you see. Steve says I'm confused.
I agree with Steve. It's only 15 minutes to do the restore. And it's only, whatever it looks like for everybody, an hour, 2 hours, 4 hours to put in your company data. It takes more time to gather the data than it does to do the changes. But that same data you're going to need for the build, regardless, whether you do it yourself, the old style, or what we're thinking about in the future. But I'm just going to touch on a few messages coming on Facebook.
Facebook user, whoever that is, said he would like generic to start. So already built a site that's generic on that. Emil Mack says you have to prompt it right to make sure that you get the hands right on the images, and says, do these sites rank? Does these sites rank local websites on page 1 of Google? Also, if the company decides to fold, how would we get access to the site? So what we do with our themes, we say you build it, you rent it, and then you rank it. That's our system. So it's a bit like owning a house. You own the real estate, right? So you don't give away the site to anybody. That's the thing with this, all right? Now, with the Magic Code Builder that we have in our system, we do a commercial license for it, an agency license. What that means is, if you were to build a site for somebody else and you put the Magic Code Builder on and you build all your content inside of our shortcode builder, you can go into our members area, hit the padlock button to disconnect the license key, and then that customer of yours loses everything. It literally, the whole site drops because all the content inside the shortcode stops working. So you can do either with that, but we recommend highly, rather than build a site for somebody, micromanage the person, because I tell you now, you'll quote 5K to build them a website. And I know Steve Dimmick in the room's had this, and they'll come back and they'll go, oh yeah, but I want this tweaking, that tweaking. And the next minute you spent 6 months tweaking their site for 5K, right? Or you paid a dev to do it for you, and you lose out on money in the end. It ends up being a situation that costs you more than what it's worth. You know, especially when every minute they're phoning, I want this change, I don't like that picture. You know, if you own the site and they rent it from you, they have less say. If they don't like it, guess what? Bye-bye. If you're unhappy when you go somewhere else. Oh, hello, John the plumber, you're going? Good. Because Steve the plumber over there wants to rent the site from me for $500 a month. Bye-bye, John the plumber. You know, and that's how we recommend to do things, which means you own the site at all times in your grasp, a bit like owning a house. If you owned a house that you're renting out and you're making good money from, someone moves out, are you just going to go, oh, I'll sell it now? No, you'll find someone else to rent the house to keep making that money. If you've got 10 houses that you can rent out and all 10 are doing well and one stops paying, you got 9 more that keep paying you while you get the 10th one refilled back up. And it's the same with digital real estate. You buy 10 domains, which cost you $10 a year. You get hosting and the DFY Magic Theme system. You install one of our sites very quickly within 15 minutes, as Steve Dimmick's done. And you then rent that site out. Worry about changing content, images, and other stuff afterwards. It's the fastest route to market. It's picking up that phone and getting someone to rent the site from you. And that's what we always aim to do. So hopefully, Neil Mack, I've answered your question on that. And welcome to the live stream. Always happy to have people watching us on the other channels. And if you want more information, reach out to myself or Robert. Tag us inside the Facebook group. We're always happy to have a chat with people and see what direction they want to go in. So DFYMagicThemes.com, we got packages starting from $97 upwards. That's the hosting, that's the agency site. There's loads of stuff on there. I've lost track.
At the end of the day, any of the rank and rent business models, right, are about providing a service to a local business that needs a website or needs an updated website. And, everybody thinks that the internet is already finished, that everybody has their websites, everybody's in great shape. But it's it's so far from the truth. I mean, you were looking at plumbers the other day, and within 5 minutes, I think you had 8 or 10 plumbers in your area, Stephen, where they didn't even have the website.
Yeah.
And
we'll show that on Google in a minute or two.
But it's like it's the insanity of what people envision, because we get inquiries all the time about wanting custom builds, and I think it's shell shock when people start shopping and they see the numbers that are out there. And I did, we should all do this, right? Every one of us should go to Google and ask Google in your area what it costs for a web designer to build a custom website. And then the next inquiry should be, in that same area, what does a web designer cost per page for a custom website?
Yeah.
And I was kind of, I did the second one, and I think it was $245 a page. Right. So when you start looking at these numbers as a small business and you're just getting started, you don't go out and buy a website. It's too much money out the door in the beginning, even though you need it. But it's not always the money that holds them back as much as I don't know what the frig I'm doing, so I don't do nothing. I wait. I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to do that next week. And you procrastinate and you wait all that time when what I call the Google Calendar is 60 to 90 days of any kind of site rank to start when it's built right.
Yeah.
And the pure fear of doing something that you don't understand and you're going to get ripped off and lose your money is what holds, I think, the majority of the business owners back. They don't realize that a website requires a purpose. You build a website for a purpose, and then you add the data to it for the purpose of what the website's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And the generalities of what business owners and people online and all of the people out there are thinking, it's just a website. It'll bring in millions of people. I'll make $1 zillion in 3 weeks and everything's good. But it's not true. It takes time. It takes effort and perseverance to make those sites rank. And that's why you go to the professionals that are doing it, because they spent the time to learn what's happening out there. And it's not simplistic. Why do we do Done Few Magic Themes? We try to make the builds simplistic because most people starting out were stuck on the builds. They can't even get going. So they spend 6 months to a year like me learning how to do a simple build and get nowhere. So how much does it cost you that you lose in revenue because you haven't got a site up? So that's kind of why we came into fruition, that it was got to be a simpler way to do this. We got to be able to build a site in an hour and still have it unique. And that's what we've done. But at the end of the day, all of us struggle with technology, with people's, what's the word I'm looking for? Their ability to think what they really need in a website. These are local businesses that are business owners that are smart. They do something that is making money in the local community, but yet they don't have a website because they can make money in their business, but they don't understand websites, so they don't do anything. And it's our job to pull them into why they need it and what it's going to do for them. And it's our job to already know what the purpose of the website is. It's lead generation in most cases for services of a local business. We're already on track. We're already dialed in for our purpose. Our purpose is to make the phone ring and the contact form get filled out for a local business. And if we're trying to do anything else with that in Done Few Magic Themes, we're dialed in on the wrong purpose of the website. And then we have to change content. We have to change what we're trying to say on the pages.
Amigo Max says most people are paying for these 97 one time for sites. Question is on that is, what do you get for your $97? All right, the DFY Magic Themes have how many pages, Robert? Can you remember?
It's 12 to 14 pages and over 8,000 words of content.
Yeah, and the content's spun in a way so that it can be easily changed. And after so many installs, our writers rewrite the sites and then re-upload them. So it means we keep an eye on the number of uses. But the thing is what do you get for your $97? Right? We are including a number of things here. On our newer builds that are coming out in the next few months, all the SEO will be done, pretty much done on them within reason. The contents on the sites, we include hosting within that package deal, and the licensing platform means that if you did a site for somebody private and they stop paying you and you can't get access to that site, you hit the padlock button and the whole site goes down. Plain and simple, you know. So it comes down to, and it also comes down to how much time you want to spend on building a site. The whole point of DFY Magic Themes, as Robert just said, is you join us, you follow the training, you do an install of one of our builds, and it's up. The Web Design Crew Kern site, I've been so busy, I haven't had time to do SEO on it. Yet, if I type in Web Design Crew Kern in Google, that site is #1. Along with our video ranking system that I ranked a video that's on there as well. And what happens, and I'll tell you why I haven't spent time on my own site, because we get so busy looking after our own customers, making sure they're okay, that I don't always have time to focus on my own web design business, which I run to the side. But I do look after my own customers when it comes to the sites I rent out. And I do that on purpose, because customers come first to us. So whether you came and joined the whole group of people that are doing this already, compared to the people who I support separately outside of DFY Magic Themes, I look after my customers first, which is why sometimes I don't get around to doing the SEO on my own web design site, because I'm busy doing the SEO on sites that I'm renting out. I'm busy looking after people on the support desk. This week's been a challenging week, and I say to people, life gets in the way. Kids have been on holiday for a week, so I've had to squeeze in time with them, take them out places, take my 14-year-old daughter to go and see her friend at Burnham-on-Sea. It's a 2-hour round trip, roughly. There's all these things that happen in the week, right? But do I get stressed about it? No. I think, okay, I couldn't do that today. It's on my board. As soon as I can get to it, I'll get to it. And if it means I get 10 support tickets come in and I deal with them, and then I get to say yes, I will. There's Bob is in the group, right? He came in with a query with something that's nothing to do with DFY Magic Themes. Now, most other companies will turn around and go, that software there is nothing to do with us. You need to go and talk to the owner of the software and say, how do I set this up? Did I do that? No. I looked after Bob, because he's one of our customers, and I went, let me find out the answer to the problem. And in the end, I worked out what it was. I logged into his software. I connected it up to the email system. Bam, it's working. Then he asked me another question, which I found the answer to, which was to do with something we use inside our themes. And I did another video and sent it to him. And that's what we do here. We try and look after people. We aren't one of these groups that hide away. If someone's watching this and you go, I want to get involved with DFY Magic Themes, send me a message, right? And say, I'm interested. Before you buy anything, send us a message. We'll jump on a call with you. We'll have a chat and make sure you're a suitable fit to what we do, and we're a suitable fit to what you do. We don't want you joining us and spending money if this isn't for you. We want people who are committed to what they're doing so we can support you properly. Bob's just said, yes, awesome support in the chat, and that's what we do for people. We make sure that you are okay. If you're stuck with something and there's a question you're stuck with, we will make sure we look after you, because that's what we like to do, and occasionally support tickets do sometimes wander by a couple of days, because there's myself, Robert and Greg that look after them. And sometimes life gets in the way, but we always get to the support tickets in the end, one way or another. If it's urgent, we say to people, send us a private message saying there's a really urgent ticket, and we're always happy to jump on that ticket ASAP. We don't get many of them, because we know our systems work really well. And that's what this is about.
At the end of the day, whether it's a support tickets or whether it's a Friday call like this that we take questions, right? It's about resolving roadblocks. And a roadblock can be a mental situation for an individual. Like, sometimes you just don't get it. It has nothing to do with the build. It has something to do with the website, or it has something to do with the internet, or it has something to do with something that you heard that you didn't understand. And that mental roadblock will eat away and erode your concentration to the level that you can't move forward. And it doesn't have to be complicated. In most cases, it may not be important, but to you at that moment, that thing that's bugging you about something that you're doing is holding you back, because you are fixated on this thing that's just eating you alive. And a lot of times it's pride. A lot of times it's being stubborn. A lot of times it's being, I'm just going to get this thing done myself. I don't need anybody's help. I'll figure it out. I'll watch YouTube. Well, you can, and you can learn that way. But what does it cost you when you can't get those roadblocks resolved? What does it cost you when you just can't move forward on what you need to do? You know, I'm going to say out loud all the time, the focus of Dunphy Magic Teams is not for the people in the community to become website building masters. They will. But the reality, it's not about that. It's about building a website as fast as possible that people will rent or you sell, whatever your business model is. We like the rental business model because it's ongoing, it's passive, and you own the digital real estate. When you sell, you can make money on the sale, but then it's over with. Can you upsell other things? You can. But when you're renting, you're in control, and you have what I call the money hammer, that if somebody stops paying you, you shut your license key off and the site breaks. The content goes away. Who are they going to call? They're not, they can't call anybody except you because you rented it to them, right? If on the flip side, just to be transparent, if you sold a site and you sold the site for a good amount of money and you had the right license key to sell it, per se, and say that your negotiation was half up front and half when you're done, and you got the half up front, you finished the site, you put it on the customer's domain, and they said, yeah, I'm not going to pay you the other half.
And I've locked you out as well.
Yeah. So what are you going to do? Well, with us, you're going to turn your license key off and the site's going to break even though it's on his hosting and on his domain, because we put the licensing in the build to protect our customers, to protect our community from being taken advantage of that way, because it's happened over and over and over again. Why did we do that? Because it happened to us in the past, both myself and Stephen.
We use Product Dino for our licensing platform. We paid a lifetime license for Product Dino. So providing they're always around, then we're fine. If they disappear, we find another platform. We pay our dev to move the licensing onto that. So there's always going to be options available for people. We'd very quickly push an update to the plugins. If that ever happened, we'd push an update to the plugins to remove the licensing temporarily so no one sites go down. So always have enabled in your WordPress plugins with us auto update on our plugin. That way, then if there's ever a problem, we hit the button, we can get your sites back up quickly and all sorted. You know, it's unlikely Product Dinos are going to go anywhere. And we have been talking about backup plans of a second system. If that ever happened, we could switch you onto it very quickly, so you wouldn't lose your site. If there was ever a situation where we got to a point where we, you know, let's say 10, 20 years down the line, we go, we're not doing this anymore, we would push an update to make the plugin free to existing customers, plain and simple. So you'd never be, you'd never lose out. We always will look after our customers first, and we're going nowhere. You know, we're you know, we've got a lot of good customers on board with us, which is super exciting. I want to quickly, I'll read the other Facebook users message in a minute. I want to just quickly share my screen because I just wanted to show people that don't know this. This is our members area. Let me just get back to the right screen. Can you see that all right, Robert?
Mm-hmm.
So depending on what package you've got, the first main thing that you'll end up coming into is the build, rent, rank training. Let me just find it in the list. Probably just gone past it. Let's have a look in the circle. There it is. It's start here. Look, should have picked up on that. And so this system will show you how to contact our support team, the checklist, set up your hosting, how to set the agency website up, how to use the Magic Code Builder, social media settings, SEO. It goes finding people to rent your site to, the DFY Magic Location Builder, how to rank your website, and some extra bits and pieces we've gone and put in there. That is just in there alone. And there's loads of videos inside that area already. And then as you come down, we have then the inner circle. If you end up being a part of that, we've got the separate training Magic Video Ranker that ranks your videos. I'm almost finished on the website ranker system. I've got to record 2 more videos, and then I'm going to go back through it to make sure it's all correct. And I'm aiming to release it this Monday coming. That's my aim for everyone who's been waiting for the Magic Vid website ranker system. You got your licensing platform, which, by the way, guys, we had to change because we were having a problem. Product Owner has a thing called collections, and the licensing kept erroring in collections. So when you come in now, if you haven't got this window come up, raise a support ticket. But when you go in to get your licensing, you'll need to open a support ticket with us now to be able to log into the licensing platform. We had to separate it out of collections because they did a silly update, and they said it's going to take them a couple of weeks to fix, and 1 or 2 sites went down in the process on the licensing, so we changed it, and it's all solid that way. All right, so open a support ticket if you haven't got access to your licensing, and we'll make sure you're all looked after on that. All right. And then in here, we got the sites we've already got built, and you come in, it shows you the file, and the installs are all the same. And then those that have it, the find and replace plugin that can replace words throughout your site. So for an example, you've got a $sign, you can change it for a pound sign. It changes it on the entire site. So we've got lots inside here. Not enough time, never enough time to go through it all. But we just wanted to share some bits and pieces for you. I think I just had another. What's that message come in? Let me just check. That's all right.
Bottom line, the bottom line is be able to build sites quick, and not. In all transparency, for us to build a site for Dungeon Free Magic Names is 4 to 8 weeks. And what you can build in 30 minutes is because we spent that time pre-building all the content. So that's the purpose of the theme. But the reality is, it's all about onboarding. It's all about clients. And these are the tools that we use once we have the clients. But the most important part is not to get fixated on how to build everything. We got that covered.
Yeah.
The real fixation is the onboarding part, which is part of the boot camp that's coming up, because we're going to expand on the client onboarding modules in what we do. So the people that are going to tune in for that entire boot camp is all about client onboarding, because the focus of the agency site with the demos already in it is you build your agency site, you're in business. You have a place to send people to go look at demos. It's not about building all these different sites, finally getting them to rank after 3 to 6 months, and then you can start maybe then talking to clients. No, you get your agency site, you start onboarding people. You have things to show them. And, if they're not pre-built, to give them a discounted rate to get them started.
Yeah.
Start making money ASAP. That's really the focus behind it. Don't get caught up in the build. Don't get caught up in the shiny object syndromes of stuff that are going to take 6 months, a year of your time, where you can have an agency site up. Steven's site's ranks, right? My site ranks. And we don't spend a lot of time on them. We should spend a whole lot more time. We get phone calls constantly about custom builds, right? We got one this week for a custom build. And I said to Steven, you know what? Usually I say no to the custom builds. I just want to give the builds that we have because that's simplistic. That's out of the box. It can be done. Boom, finished, right? But the custom builds, I said, you know what? I want to go through this process with this guy just so it refreshes my mind on the questions that come up, the scenarios, the things, the loopholes that you can get caught into, right? So going through just, the little process of a couple emails back and forth, and I offered a free consultation. They don't want to take a consultation. That's a red flag for me. Why would you not want to have a consultation about a website build that you want to build? I don't know. So anyways, the emails went back and forth. He wanted a price, threw a price at him. We threw a price at him. It was ridiculous because we don't want to do it. And he accepted it anyways. So is it going to go forward? I don't know, because he keeps questioning the things that the details, and the devil's always in the details, right? So spelling out exactly what he's going to get for the money that was quoted is critical for you guys. If you don't tell them it's going to be this many pages, it's going to be this many words, it's going to be this many images, they're envisioning, Wikipedia on their on their website build that you're not going to deliver to them. So you have to spell it out in a way. The price that you're quoting is going to give them so many pages, so much content, so many images, going to be done in so much time frame. And if anything in that process requires input from them, the site cannot be finished without the data that they're supposed to supply you. And put a termination period to that, meaning that if they're supplying you the content per se, and you're not doing the content, you take half your money and they don't get you the content, the contract or the agreement goes null and void because they couldn't supply you the content within so many months.
By the way, Bob, I love the images. Bob shared some images with us inside of the chat in Zoom, and they look brilliant. What are you using for that, Bob? Out of interest, I'd love to know in the chat what service you're using, because they've actually come out pretty darn good with the hands and stuff. If I get a moment later on, I'll try and share them inside of our groups if I get time. And Steve says, client says, can I sell WordPress to other people I know? I own it now, right? And this is always the problem that things come up with, is that if you build a site for a customer and they're paying you for the site, technically they can turn around and say, well, that's mine, that's it. I can do whatever I like with it. Compared to when you rent a site, if that person tries stealing the site from you, I mean, if I'm renting a site, I don't let them have access to the site. I tell them, well, if you want something changing, we'll talk about it. But they are renting the site from me, which is why we always go down with the market of build it, rent it, then worry about ranking it. I reached out to a local company a few companies this week out doing some tests, and I had one person come back and went, yeah, I'm interested in one of your sites. And I went, shit, I now got to build the bloody thing because I hadn't built it. But it's not a problem, because the way we're doing sites now, it doesn't take long to put a site up. And then over the coming months, I'll work on the SEO on it and I'll rank it and get it up there, So that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And you just got to focus on your business. There's online people, there are the people out there in the IM world that go, buy this, do this, and you got lots of money in your hand. It's not, none of that's true. The truth of the matter is, you've got to build a business. It's like building a bricks and mortars business. You've got to build a business, and whatever you do, whether it's your own, rank and rent business, or it's one that you're supplying websites to people, make sure that whatever you're going to offer them, they know what you're going to offer them. It's in black and white, so there's no arguments at the end of it. But on that note, Robert, guess what time it is right now?
We have to go to the inner circle.
Absolutely. We have to go to the inner circle. So anyone in the free groups, thank you very much for tuning in. Happy Halloween in advance if you celebrate it. Go out trick-or-treating. But we're now going to the inner circle only.